Hello, Void. How are you doing? So, last time I noted that I was probably going to see you later that night with another review. That didn't happen. My partner wasn't feeling up to watching a more serious movie, so he's watched an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000 and I didn't actually get a movie in. And yesterday I was just busy. So, a little bit longer than I was expecting, but here I am. Excuse me. But I am still kind of ahead for the month, so I'm accepting that. Now, so today I was pulling up from Netflix since I think I've gone through at least, this is my second rotation on all my streaming services, and Netflix, despite having the poorest selection overall, still had a few things. And I did finally figure out how to order it by the way I was looking for, so Netflix still isn't very user-friendly, but I was finally able to figure it out. I'm getting old. Anyway, so tonight's movie was His House. Now, I ended up watching this one because I was pretty sure I had recognized the name a couple times on the horror subreddits, and I was just taking it as a recommendation on there. I knew nothing about this film going in. And, yeah, it was solid. I wouldn't say it's one I'd watch often, but it was an interesting experience. So, His House came out in 2020, and it's about a refugee couple from South Sudan who is entering into as refugees into London and are trying to make a living. However, they lost their daughter on the boat out there in their haste to flee, and are now trying to come to terms with living without her and adapting to London. The husband, Bull, is trying to essentially adapt. He wants to start doing all the things to fit in as much as he can, while his wife, Rial, is a lot more hesitant. She wants to hold on to some of her culture. She wants to not just forget and abandon everything, while he is so determined to leave everything behind. Especially since immigration's kind of breathing down their necks. If they step a foot out of line, they could be deported. And now they are given a place that they have to live in, and if they leave or try to live somewhere else, they will be deported. So I assume this is going to be a basic haunted house shtick at that point, but it's a little bit more than that. Yes, we're dealing with the horrors of racism and classism and the immigration system. But it doesn't help that they're seeing ghosts from their pasts, and some sort of malevolent entity seems to be focused in on them. They refer to it as a type of witch, which it seemed to have been something cultural from Sudan. I wasn't as familiar with the mythology behind it, but it did have some interesting aspects. I couldn't pick out what the Sudanese name of the creature or entity. I'm trying to I'm trying to scroll in to see if something pops it up quick, but I'm not really seeing it, so alas. Well, it's trying to get them to either abandon this place and go back, and or, barring that, for the husband to kill himself, or for her to kill him, or at least cut him to let the creature in. It is promising the return of their daughter upon doing this. So, it sounds pretty basic, but there is a lot going on. There's a few twists that I did not see coming, particularly with what actually happened on their flight over here, which is told in a flashback much later in the film. Which, made it, delivered a few potent punches there. Also, seeing the horrors of the system at work is a whole other kind of horror altogether. In addition to seeing the ghosts in their walls. Matt Smith actually had a supporting role in this as essentially the one of the social workers who's checking in on them, and he does a good job playing a haggard guy who's not enjoying his job and is just doing the best he can, and he's sympathetic but can only do so much and is already probably bending rules more than he should have for them, but it was interesting seeing him again. Overall, I did enjoy the film. It's definitely emotional, as a lot of it is the marriage between these two is rocky, and you can understand why. And in addition to having this witch entity trying to mess with their lives, they also have the system messing with their lives, and the loss of their daughter. So for this one, I'm going to give it a 6 MacGuffins. I did enjoy it. Definitely good. But, well, high end of average, I will say. It wasn't just shy of being good for me. It was a bit slow and ponderous at times. And sometimes some of the accents can be a little bit thick to pick out exactly what's going on when they're talking very quickly. It's not normally a complaint on my end, but it could have just been me being a little distracted while watching it. But and I personally, I'd wish they had used some of the subtitling a little bit more and let them speak in their native language a little bit more. But he was so determined to speak English because he wants to fit in. Yeah, I think that's about all I can really say on His House. I think the title is just called that because he is so determined to make this his house, rather than it related to the entity. The term His House had me thinking of something like related to the devil or something, but no. Because the entity, while it is residing within the house, it does seem to indicate it would have followed them wherever and came with them on the boat, so yeah. Okay, I think that's all on it. 6 MacGuffins, worth a watch, especially if you're into something a little bit more dramatic rather than overall scary. But yeah, it's worth seeing. If nothing else, for the twists are worth it in this one. Okay, I'll catch you guys later and see about getting at least one more in tomorrow, and we'll go from there. See you later, Void.